Good evening, ladies. First, thank you so much for having me on the show today. I wish I could split myself into 10 individuals, but this was something that I needed to do and just kind of be on the show. And congratulations on your success of your 1-year anniversary. My name is Shacazia Brown. I am the CEO of the SOMWA Foundation. Stands for Survivors of Mothers with AIDS. This foundation has been going strong for approximately 1 year and 7 months. And when I say going strong, meaning the community makes it stronger. I had a vision, I have a passion about this. I'm a strong activist, AIDS activist in my community. At the age of 23, I lost my mother, my best friend, to AIDS. I was very, very stubborn. I didn't know what this disease was. I thought it was just for individuals who use drugs, a gay man's disease. At 23, you really don't want to know about this disease. So what I did was, my mom, she passed away, and I felt the need of taking care of my brothers because I didn't want them to become AIDS orphans. It's sad to say that when you lose, your mother, to AIDS, you automatically become in the system when there's no one to take care of you, and you become this AIDS orphan. There's not a cancer orphan, there's not a diabetes orphan, there's an AIDS orphan. So at 23, I took care of my 3 brothers, age of 3, 6, and 7 years old. Didn't know anything about motherhood. At 23 years old, what we know how to do, but just party.
Exactly.
So I had to kind of chill on that a little bit, and I became this mother overnight. And as I got older, I wanted to do something more. So I said, let me do something a little bit more. What is this AIDS walk thing? And I know it stops traffic, and I know I can see everyone. And so I did my first AIDS walk, and after that, it just history, just made itself. I just felt that I just needed to do something a little bit more than just organizing and structuring a team of over 350 walkers in Team Memory of Wanda for AIDS Walk New York. So we started branching off and doing other teams in other states. So currently we have four different teams in different states. So we have Miami, Atlanta, Pennsylvania, New York, and also we're doing some things in other cities and states such as Chicago, DC, you name it, we're there. So I started this foundation. I said, there's so many kids out here in our backyard who we don't know, that lost their mothers to AIDS. You may have an aunt, you may have a sister that have a child, and sometimes we forget about them a little bit. We look at them and like, they're gonna be okay. They're gonna be all right, and they have their grandmother, their aunt taking care of them, who are like 60, 70 years old. But what these kids, what they do, they don't know where, they don't have an outlet. So they become vulnerable to either the streets or they start doing things that we really don't want to do. So I said, let's bring the community together. And that's the thing. I can't do this alone. We have to bring the community together. And by bringing the community together, I said, survivors of mothers with AIDS. I get it. It happened to me. And so basically everything that I did for my brothers is a true testimonial of what I'm doing with the foundation. We're not doctors. We're not lawyers. We're not, these special people who have degrees in HIV AIDS. We don't have a cure. But we can bring the community together to make that mother who is HIV positive feel like they have forgotten that they have to take 12 pills a day. Just for that moment. So we said, okay, let's start having some positive events in the household where the kid who is actually living at home and they actually come home and they see their mother HIV positive, what are they gonna do? They're gonna get depressed, they're gonna go outside, they're gonna join a gang, they're gonna do some things that they're not supposed to do. So we said, let's start having some happy events. So last year, what we did was we had our first annual toy drive. So, I never forget, I was at a concert, and I was at a Maxwell concert, and I closed my eyes, and he had like this big HIV AIDS thing on the stage, and it was called Help Somebody. And I was like, I got it. My friends think I'm crazy because I can be in the middle, like I'll catch the Holy Ghost, like I got it, So what we did was I said, we're gonna bring the community together, we're gonna do a toy drive. We had our first annual toy drive, and we was able to get the community together. We had over 350 people and grabbed 60 large garbage bags of toys. So we looked at these toys, and I said, what in the world I'm going to do with all these toys? Like, where I'm going to put them? So I put all of them in my apartment, you know, right in the brownstone in my little 1-bedroom. I had to wake up to Elmo and Mickey and all, you know, to infinity and beyond every single morning. So I reached out to an organization at GMAC, and it's called Women's Care Prevention Services. And basically, I never forget, I walked in and I said, what do you need help with? And she looked at me like if I was crazy. She said, what do you mean? I said, what do you need help with? And she said, well, you know what? Every year we struggle with our holiday party because, you know, we're in the process of moving into another location. We really don't have the budget to provide services for these women who are HIV positive for their kids, for the toys. I said, you know what? I'm going to do your holiday party for free. And she looked at me like I was crazy. I didn't have no money and no budget. You know, I just walked in and she just thought that I was just playing this prank. So make a long story short, we was able to, I had a vision. I said, you know what, when I took care of my brothers, their first Christmas, keep in mind, remember when you was a child and your first Christmas, and you was able to get some toys that you was never able to give, whether, you know, you're from the old school and you was able to have, you know, fruit for toys and, you know, things of that nature, or rocks or something, or shoelaces, or, you know, and or you was able to get your first Nintendo or your first Wii or your first CD, anything your first. So I said, you know what? We're going to give these kids their first everything. So what we did was we had the holiday party the following month at the Harlem Children's Zone. Shout out to Jeffrey Canada. And we was able to give out toys to 350 kids who lost their mothers to AIDS, or their mothers are living at home and their mothers are HIV positive. We was able to give the boys free haircuts. We was able to give all of the girls get their fingers, their nails done. We was able to do face painting. We had Mickey, we had Minnie, we had sponsorships from Sylvia's, Amy Roos, who donated chicken, macaroni and cheese. We was able to get, and this is by me walking in. Just walking in. I don't have grants. I'm not gonna sit there and write out a grant to the state for $5,000 and I know it's gonna take me a year to get, when I can bring the community together with those $5, $10 donations, and we're in your face. You know, sometimes, you know, you give your little $5, $10 donation and you don't know where it's going.
Right.
So what we did was not only the $5 to $10 donation, we're in your face, but you can actually volunteer, and that emotional branding, you can actually see and feel that experience with the child.
Right.
So from there, we just said, you know what, we're gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. So what we did was, after that, I said, you know what, it doesn't stop here. Where these kids are going for the summer? I have a vision. Once again, I called the Holy Ghost. I said, I remember when I took my brothers to their first amusement park. And remember when you was a child and you went to your first amusement park, Dorney Park, Great Adventures, whether your head was banging back and forth or not, you felt good. So I said, you know what? I want to take 175 kids to Dorney Park. They thought I was crazy. So I said, my vision, I want 4 academy buses. And I want these mothers to be able to just get on the bus and don't worry about having AIDS. I want these kids who never went to Dorney Park before just to wear a t-shirt and just say, you know what? You're going to get on the bus, you're going to have free ice cream, you're going to have free hot dogs, you're going to have free burgers. Get on the bus and enjoy yourself. We was able to get 100 and something volunteers in the community to make that happen. The $5, $10 donations, the $20 donations, you know, will go a long way. So I said it doesn't stop from there, because my calling is not finished. So what I did was, I said I have to do the ultimate volunteer work.
Yeah.
You know, I always see all of these celebrities who have all of these monies, and they go out to Africa and they say, you know what, I want to volunteer. Everyone wants to experience the motherland, right?
Yep.
Y'all want to go and wear all white and just walk in the woods and just feel free. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to live poor. I did totally the opposite.
Yeah.
So what I did was, for 2 weeks, I was able to travel to Kenya, where for 1 week I was able to live in a children's home at the Kajiado Children's Home. And I was able to sleep how they sleep, eat how they eat, feel how they feel. These kids are ages from kindergarten to 14 years old. 75% of these kids have lost their mothers. Their entire family has been wiped out to AIDS. So the only thing that they have is themselves and hope in God. That's the only thing. So just imagine me just going there, and I couldn't drink their water because their water is dirty. We consider it dirty. They don't. They boil it, and it's clean to them.